The Epstein scandal also affecting the Norwegian royal family, under the spotlight, under pressure like never before. This latest tranche of files that links the crown princess there in Norway, Mette-Marit, to Jeffrey Epstein. And we also had this morning her son appearing in court in Oslo. He has pleaded not guilty to the charge of raping 4 women. Marius is accused of 38 criminal offences. This is Norway's biggest trial for years.
Of history, the modern Norwegian monarchy as we know it today was only recently restored. In 1905, Norway became independent from Sweden. The country then held a vote to decide whether to become a republic or stay a monarchy. The vote was in favour of preserving the monarchy, and Prince Carl of Denmark was asked to become Norway's king, taking the name Håkon VII. This choice changed the country's constitution, and the monarchy has been an important part of Norwegian society ever since.
Well, this is a really difficult time for the Norwegian royal family. Of course, the interest is very high for the trial starting today, but also the revelations that came this weekend about the links between the crown princess and Jeffrey Epstein. We've had 2 polls coming out yesterday and today about with the question, can Mette-Marit become queen one day? And nearly half of the population say no at this time. That's a blow for the monarchy.
Norway is a constitutional monarchy today, which implies that the royal family doesn't have any real political influence. They can't make laws, stop laws from being passed, or directly change government policy. Instead, their main job is to be a symbol and a part of ceremonies. The monarch is the head of state and stands for national unity and continuity. The royal family goes to official events, helps charities, and represents Norway across the world. They don't have any real power, but they are very important to Norwegian culture and national identity. Since King Olav V died in 1991, King Harald V and Queen Sonja have been on the throne. King Harald is now in his late 80s, making him one of the oldest reigning monarchs in Europe. The Norwegian people have largely liked Harald and Sonja during their reign because they are easy to talk to and dedicated to serving the public. They have tried to make the monarchy look more modern while yet keeping its traditions and dignity. They have 2 kids together. Their son, Crown Prince Håkon, will be king when his father dies or steps down. He is the heir to the throne. Princess Märtha Louise, their daughter, is 4th in line for the throne, although she has not been doing her royal obligations in recent years. We'll talk about that choice later. Crown Prince Håkon has been getting ready for his future role as king his whole life. He has studied in Norway and other countries such as the University of California, Berkeley, and the London School of Economics. He has done formal work for his father and represents Norway at a number of international events. Crown Prince Håkon married Mette-Marit Chesem Høiby in 2001. She became Crown Princess Mette-Marit. From the beginning, this marriage was controversial and went against royal tradition in a big way. Many people said that Mette-Marit came from a modest background, which is very different from the aristocratic circles that European monarchy usually comes from. She had done a lot of different professions and was a single mother to Marius, a little kid from a previous relationship. In the late 1990s, she also had ties to Norway's party scene, which made some more traditional parts of Norwegian society raise their eyebrows. In royal families, marriages have always been arranged, or at least heavily suggested among nobles and royals. The goal was to keep lineages alive, make political ties stronger, and protect what was perceived as the dignity and exclusivity of royal position. Even today, several European royals have married people from noble families, or at least someone who are connected to high society. Some people thought it was wrong for Crown Prince Håkon to marry someone outside of this traditional mould, while others thought it was a refreshing change that was more modern and democratic. Mette-Marit had a news conference before the wedding, in which she talked about her history and said she was sorry for some of the mistakes she had made. The Norwegian media and public took note of this unprecedented show of honesty and weakness. It was a risk, but it made her more human in a way that helped her in the end. The wedding took place in August 2001 and was a big deal in Norway, with millions of people watching it on TV and online. After the marriage, Mette-Marit slowly won over a lot of the Norwegian public. She seemed to be dedicated and really interested in her royal duties. She got very interested in humanitarian work, focusing on problems like global health, human rights, and freedom of speech. She has worked with groups that deal with HIV and AIDS, encouraged reading and literature, and spoken up for people who are vulnerable. As she represented Norway in events and conferences across the world, her worldwide profile grew. A lot of Norwegians saw her as a sign of a more modern, open monarchy that could relate to regular people. People could relate to her because of her heritage, which is not something that most royals can do. She seemed to know what it was like to be a typical person because she had lived that life herself. As time went on, many saw her as a valuable member of the royal family. She helped keep public support for the monarchy in a society that was growing more equal and where questions about the value of hereditary privilege were becoming more frequent. Marius, her son, didn't get a royal title or a seat in the line of succession, but he grew up around royals and was often seen at official parental advice on sexual images and adolescent guys. Another email exchange has gotten a lot of attention because it sounds so casual and almost flirty. Epstein wrote to Mette-Marit in this communication that he was looking for a marriage and that while Paris was interesting, he liked Scandinavian ladies better. Mette-Marit's answer has two parts. First, she said she was still trying to get over the shock that he was really looking for a wife, which might mean she was really surprised or just joking. She sent another reply that said, "Freezing snow yesterday. Paris is good for cheating. Scandinavians are better wife material, but then again, who am I to talk?" This remark has been talked about a lot in Norwegian media. The mention of Paris being good for cheating, followed by the statement that Scandinavians make better wives, seems to go along with what Epstein said in a way that some people find worrisome. The last part, "who am I to talk," is unclear and has made some wonder what she meant by it. Another email talks of a royal wedding in Luxembourg that Mette-Marit went to. When Epstein asked her how the wedding was, she replied with what seems like casual gossip. Boring wedding was like some kind of old movie where you know the characters are not hanging around for much longer. Books, more books. The reference is a bit vague, but it suggests that she was comfortable sharing honest and possibly unflattering thoughts about other royals with Epstein. Normally, this kind of intimate talk between royals about other royals would stay private, but here it was being discussed with someone who wasn't a royal at all. Mette-Marit sent Epstein another short message that said, "You are very charming, you know." Many people have taken this little message as more proof that the two are close friends. The way she said, "you know," at the end makes it sound like they were in on something together. The email that has caused the most trouble and condemnation, though, is the one in which Mette-Marit told Epstein that she had Googled him and that he didn't seem very well, along with a happy face emoticon. This communication was sent in 2011, 3 years after Epstein was found guilty and registered as a sex offender. There are many problems with the message. First, it goes against what Mette-Marit later said about not knowing how bad Epstein's criminal record was while she was in touch with him. If she had looked him up on Google in 2011, she would have found out right away that he had been found guilty in 2008. Since she brought it up in a light-hearted way and included a smiling face, it seems like she knew about his legal problems but didn't think they were bad enough to end their relationship or even change the tone of their letters. This specific discovery has gotten a lot of bad press in Norway, much more so than the fact that there was contact in the first place. Many people in Norway think that knowing someone has been convicted of a crime involving a juvenile and still being friends with them shows a serious lack of judgment at best and a disturbing lack of concern for the exploitation of minors at worst. It's clear that there is a disconnect for a member of the royal family who has created a reputation for helping others and speaking up for those who are vulnerable. The Crown Princess has said that she didn't completely understand how bad Epstein's actions were when they were in touch. She has maintained through official statements from the royal palace that she knew Epstein because he was involved in a number of charitable organizations and that their interaction was related to her work on subjects like human rights and freedom of speech. The palace has made it clear that she didn't know the full nature of his illicit actions and would never have kept in touch with him if she had known what he had done. The Google email, on the other hand, makes this defense much tougher to keep going. She may not have known everything about his misdeeds, but she obviously knew enough to make a joke about how horrible he appeared online. This means she had seen some of the bad things about him, but didn't take them seriously. The timing of these revelations couldn't be worse for the Norwegian royal family. The Epstein papers came out just when another big controversy was at its worst, one that would hurt the monarchy's reputation considerably more and raise even more questions about who is responsible and what the royal family should do. Many Norwegians feel that the two scandals together have made the institution seem like it's in crisis, which undermines its entire validity. when the person who might one day be queen is found to have been friends with a convicted sex offender, and that news comes out at the same time as other major problems. It has a terrible effect. People no longer trust the royal family, and many are now openly wondering if the monarchy can survive these scandals or if Norway should seriously think about becoming a republic after King Harald dies. As the Epstein documents were making headlines all over Norway, another very disturbing story was also happening at the same time. It was about Crown Princess Mette-Marit's son from her former relationship. Marius Borg-Høiby, who is now in his late 20s, was at the focus of a criminal investigation that would lead to significant accusations and a lot of public attention. The timing was terrible for the royal family because two big scandals broke almost at the same time, making the damage from each one worse. It's crucial to make clear Marius's place in the Norwegian royal family so that you can understand why this is so important. When Crown Prince Haakon married Mette-Marit in 2001, her son Marius, who was still a child, moved into the royal family but did not have a royal title. He does not have the title of prince, is not next in line for the throne, and does not have any official obligations or responsibilities in the monarchy. He is a private citizen on paper, and he doesn't have any official ties to the institution. It was probably decided not to give him a title to keep the line of succession clear and to avoid problems that could come up if the heir had a non-biological child in a semi-royal position. But Marius's life has been a lot more convoluted than his formal position could make it seem. He lived in the royal palace as a child and grew up with his half-siblings, Princess Ingrid Alexandra and Prince Sverre Magnus. He has attended to many royal events throughout the years. He has been in official pictures, gone to state banquets and parties, and travelled with the royal family. He may not have a title, but he has lived a life of privilege and public attention since he is part of the royal family. People in Norway have seen him grow up, and they have always seen his behaviour in light of his connection to the monarchy. This made things awkward because Marius was in a kind of grey area. He was near enough to the royals. Family that what he did affected them, but the palace could also say that he was a private person and that his acts were his own. This plan worked really well as long as Marius stayed out of trouble, but when huge difficulties came up, the lack of clarity became too much to handle. In August 2024, the Norwegian government said that Marius Borg-Høiby had been formally charged with several major crimes. The indictment was thorough and included numerous distinct complainants, which suggests that the behaviour in question was not just one or two isolated incidences. The prosecution said that the crimes happened over a long period of time, which made the case worse. The information that came out formed a really unpleasant picture. Some of the charges were about things that happened with people Marius was very close to. Norwegian law takes crimes that happen in close relationships or against domestic partners very seriously. The law understands that abuse in relationships is a breach of trust, and often happens when the victim is weak or relies on the abuser. Many people thought that this was not just a case of one person making a mistake or misunderstanding, but rather a pattern of detrimental behaviour because there were multiple complainants. The charges included accusations that shook the people of Norway when they were made public. Legal reporting rules have kept the specifics of the claims secret to preserve the privacy of the people who made them, but enough material has come out to show that these were not little crimes. The Norwegian media covered the case a lot, and while they respected the legal process and the rights of everyone concerned, they made it obvious that the charges were severe enough that if the defendants were found guilty, they may face a long jail sentence. Marius Borg-Høiby has disputed the most serious accusations against him. He has kept his innocence on some important accusations through his lawyers, but he has also admitted to some less charges. The exact details of these fresh charges were not made public right away, but officials said they were significant enough to require quick action. The police were worried that further crimes would happen, which suggests that they thought Marius might conduct more crimes if he stayed free. Based on this evaluation, the prosecutors asked that Marius be held in jail until his trial. A court hearing was convened to talk about this request, and the judge agreed with the prosecution. Marius was told to stay in jail, which meant he wouldn't be able to get out on bond as he waited for his trial. This verdict made it clear how serious the matter was, and that the court thought there were good reasons to worry about what could happen if he was let go. There were a number of reasons why the custody ruling was important. In Norway, as in many other countries, pre-trial detention is not routine. It is only imposed when there are good reasons to believe it is warranted. These can include worries that the accused would run away, mess up the investigation, scare witnesses, or commit more crimes. The court's decision to keep Marius in jail showed that the evidence and circumstances were serious enough to make this uncommon action necessary. The royal family faced an impossible choice because of the scenario. They had to respect the judicial process and stick to the idea that Marius was a private person whose case should be handled like any other, without any special treatment or interference. King Harald, Crown Prince Haakon, and Crown Princess Mette-Marit all said in public that they believed in the rule of law and that the court system should be able to work on its own. They made it clear that Marius should be treated like any other citizen when it comes to the law. In truth, though, Marius was not just any citizen. He was the biological son of the future queen and the stepson of the future king. He had grown up in the royal palace, where he had all the benefits, and family went beyond Crown Princess Mette-Marit and her son Marius. Princess Märtha Louise, Crown Prince Haakon's sister, had been causing trouble for herself for a few years, which made the monarchy's problems even worse. Even while her case was distinct from the others, it nevertheless highlighted problems about judgment, responsibility, and the line between royal privilege and personal freedom. Princess Märtha Louise is the fourth person in line for the Norwegian throne, after her brother Crown Prince Haakon and his two kids. For a long time, she has been a bit of an oddball in the royal family. She has been interested in alternative spirituality for a long time and has said things over the years about talking to angels and having spiritual skills. Some more conventional Norwegians were shocked by these views, but most people accepted them as personal quirks. But things changed a lot when she started dating an American man called Durek Verrett. Durek Verrett says he is a shaman and a spiritual guide. He has made a living by offering spiritual services, performing rituals, giving talks, and selling books about his ideas on health and spirituality. His past and statements have caused a lot of trouble in Norway, a country that values reason, science, and skepticism against what many people see as pseudo-scientific rubbish. Medical professionals, scientists, and other people who work in sectors that rely on evidence have attacked Verrett's views several times over the years. Verrett's claim that he can treat cancer and other major ailments by spiritual means was one of the most shocking things he said. He has also questioned the usefulness and effectiveness of modern medicine, saying that people can heal themselves through spiritual activities instead of relying on traditional medical care. These kinds of statements are not only controversial, but they could even be harmful. People who are really sick and prefer to use unproven spiritual therapies instead of proven medical treatments may get worse or even die. Norwegian doctors and public health officials spoke out forcefully against these proposals, saying they could make vulnerable individuals make bad choices about their health care. Verrett has also been connected to a number of alternative medicine ideas that don't have any scientific backing. He has pushed products and practices that say they would make people healthier and happier. But there is no proof that they work better than a placebo. People who are yearning for help with health problems or looking for meaning and purpose in their life have called his work exploitative. They say that he employs spiritual language and promises of unique powers to sell goods and services that don't really help. In 2019, the relationship between Princess Märtha Louise and Durek Verrett became public. From the start, it got a lot of media attention and sparked a lot of public debate in Norway. A lot of Norwegians were upset that a member of the royal family was linked to someone who was spreading what they thought was harmful medical disinformation. People were worried not only about Märtha Louise's choices, but also about the message it gave and how it backed up Verrett's accusations. When a princess supports someone in public, such support means something. The royal link could make people more likely to believe what that individual says or buy their services. Things got even worse when it became evident that Märtha Louise and Verrett were utilizing her royal title in business settings. They gave lectures and workshops together, and her title of princess was prominently shown in advertising materials. They published books and made courses that anyone could buy, and they utilized her royal status to promote them. Critics said that this was clearly wrong from an ethical point of view. Norwegian taxpayers pay for the royal family, and although they don't get paid in the usual way, they get a lot of public money to pay for their homes, staff, and way of life. They are supposed to serve the country and follow specific rules of behavior in exchange for this help. Many people thought it was wrong to use a royal title to generate money in private commercial deals, since it was perceived as a violation of public trust. The argument got more and bigger, and the media grew more and more critical. In major Norwegian newspapers, Op-eds argued that Märtha Louise should either stop using her royal title for business purposes or give it up. Polls of public opinion showed that most Norwegians did not like how she was handling the crisis. People who usually supported the monarchy and didn't mind Märtha Louise's personal opinions all thought it was wrong and harmful to the institution as a whole to use her royal rank for economic purposes. The stress kept building between 2020 and 2021. At first, the royal palace tried to handle the problem quietly, probably expecting that the scandal would go away on its own. But things only got worse. People wanted the royal family to do more and make it obvious that this kind of behavior was not okay. Some people said that Märtha Louise should lose her title completely, while others said she should be taken out of the line of succession or not be allowed to go to royal occasions. Finally, in November 2022, a big announcement was made. Princess Märtha Louise said she was quitting her official royal obligations. She would no longer go to official gatherings or do ceremonial duties for the royal family. But she would still be called a princess because she was born with that title, and changing constitutional law would be needed to take it away. She promised not to use the title in business settings. When she worked with Direct Verret, people would just call her Märtha Louise without the title of princess. Some people thought this compromise was a fair way to meet both her wants and the needs of the monarchy. She could keep dating and working on her business, but she couldn't immediately tie them to her royal status. Some people thought it didn't go far enough and that she should have had to give up the title completely. Even if she didn't use it for business, the fact that she kept it at all nevertheless gave some people an implied endorsement and link that they found worrisome. The decision was a historic event for the royal family of Norway. It was very unusual for a member of a royal family to choose to stop doing their formal duties like this. It was a sign that the old agreement wasn't functioning and that the monarchy needed to make it plain what was a public job and what was a private activity. But for many Norwegians, it was just another proof that the royal family was in trouble, unable to meet modern expectations and keep up the standards of behaviour that would justify their continuing existence. All of these scandals and problems have happened while support for the monarchy in Norway has been slowly going down. There has been a definite pattern in opinion polls over the past few years. Most Norwegians still want to maintain the monarchy, but that number has gone down a lot. More importantly, support among younger Norwegians has decreased even more severely. People under 30 are significantly more inclined than older generations to wonder if Norway should even have a hereditary royal dynasty at all, according to surveys. This gap between generations is noteworthy because it shows that support for the monarchy may keep going down as older, more traditional Norwegians are replaced by younger people with new beliefs and aspirations. Norwegian kids today grew up in a society that values equality, meritocracy, and democratic responsibility. These principles don't play well with the idea that certain people should have higher status just because of the family they were born into. When the royal family is doing its job well and not causing any trouble, a lot of people are willing to ignore this philosophical paradox. But when scandals come out that make people question the judgment and character of members of the royal family, the main question comes back with a vengeance. What makes these folks so special? What have they done to earn the public funding and privileges they get? The argument about the future of the Norwegian monarchy is no longer only a fringe issue among extreme politicians. It has become a common topic of conversation in Norwegian politics and society. Opinion pieces in major media argue about whether the country should move toward being a republic. Politicians who used to avoid the subject out of fear of being rude now openly talk about the prospect of changing the constitution. The question is not if Norway will talk about this, but when and how it will end. At this time, the Norwegian monarchy is going through a very critical time. King Harald V is already in his late 70s and is one of the oldest kings in Europe. He is still active and involved, but the truth is that the change to the following generation can't be too far off. Crown Prince Haakon and Crown Princess Mette-Marit will become king and queen at some point in the next several years. Normally, this change would be carefully planned to make sure things stay the same and stable. The new kings and queens would take over with the backing of the people and goodwill, continuing the work of the previous generation, but slowly making their own mark on the institution. But these are not typical times. Instead, the change will happen in the middle of several big controversies. The fact that Mette-Marit is linked to Jeffrey Epstein, that her son is facing criminal charges, and that her sister-in-law's business operations have been contentious, have all led to a crisis of legitimacy that may be impossible to fix. A lot of Norwegians are wondering if Håkon and Mette-Marit can really take over the throne, or if the royal family's reputation has already been too badly hurt to fix. Some people say that King Harald's death or abdication could be the right time for Norway to rethink the whole monarchy and have a meaningful national discourse about whether it is still helpful in the 21st century. The notion of dismantling the monarchy post-Harald's reign has transitioned from being nearly inconceivable to a plausible prospect that is publicly debated in prominent political circles.